Our study is about the factors affecting the learning of physical education among senior high school students, a basis for instructional intervention. The learning process is one of the most important activities in the life of student. The learning process is connected with achievement, and achievement influences the life satisfaction of children as well as all humans. Academic achievement affects the lives of the students to the full extent. For this reason, educational institutions all around the world consider it an important target to improve the students' academic success. In some cases, learning physical education is affected by different factors and has impacted to the students' academic performance. That is why the researchers came up with the title Factors Affecting the Learning of Physical Education Among Senior High School Students, a basis for instructional intervention. Identification of these factors that are essential for the success is seen as important in the growth of young people's success. That's why the researchers have selected this study in order for us to identify the different factors that have impacted to the learning habits of the students in learning physical education, and we wanted to find out what are those factors. And at the end of this study, we are to provide recommendations and some solutions to the problems at hand. We move to the theoretical framework. Constructivism is an approach to learning that holds the people actively construct or make their own knowledge that are knowledge and that reality is determined by the experiences of the learner. In elaborating constructivist ideas, Arendt states that constructivism believes in personal construction of meaning by learner through experience, and that meaning is influenced by the interaction of prior knowledge and new events. So this theory has been our key guide in studying the problem, and it became our guide for us to identify the different factors and to help us in analyzing the data gathered from our respondents. Now we move to the statement of the problem. We have identified 3 questions to be answered up until the end of our study. This study attempts to identify the factors that affect the learning of physical education subject of senior high school students of St. Ferdinand College. Specifically, it aims to answer the following questions. Number 1, how do the following factors affect the learning of physical education? About internal factors and external factors. Question number 2, how do respondents perform in their MAPE subject? Number 3, is there a significant relationship of the factors affecting the learning of physical education to the respondents' performance? Next, the research design. This study is descriptive research aiming to understand and study the factors that affect learning of the subject physical education in order to provide relevant recommendations for the said issue. Descriptive research design is appropriate in helping the researchers obtain the information in order to describe the situation being faced by the respondents.
So next is the respondents of the study. The respondents of our study were the grade 12 STEM students of St. Ferdinand College Senior High School. The grade 12 STEM strand was composed of 3 sections: the St. Benedict, St. Teresa, and the St. Bernadette. The St. Benedict has 43 students. Same as true with St. Teresa. And the St. Bernadette has 41 students. So all in all, there are 127 students or respondents in our study. Next is the data gathering instrument. The instrument that we use in our study for collecting a data was a self-made survey questionnaire. The survey questionnaire was in a Google form so that our student can easily access it. Our questionnaire included 25 questions. There are also two types of factors in our study, the internal factors and the external factors. Next is the data gathering procedure. We had allotted time, effort, and cooperation for the construction of survey questionnaire to serve the study's respondents. We as a researcher wrote a letter of permission with the note of the research professor. The said letter addressed to the principal of the senior high school department to ask permission to float a survey questionnaires. After which, the researchers were accompanied by the physical education instructor in floating the questionnaires through the Google form link made by us. The said link was sent to the respective group chats of the respondents. Next is the data analysis procedure. To describe the factors affecting the learning outcome of the physical education, we use the Likert scale. If the mean ranges from 1.00 to 1.75, the respondents strongly disagree. When the mean ranges from 1.76 to 2.50, the respondents disagree. When the mean range 2.51 to 3.25, the respondents agree. When the mean ranges from 3.06 to 4.00, the respondents strongly agree. Next is the data analysis procedure. For the effects of the factors, the learning of physical education in data analysis procedure, the scale presented on the PowerPoint was used. If the range is below 75, it means that the student did not meet expectations. If the range is 75 to 79, it means that the student fairly satisfactory. If the range is 80 to 84, it means that the student is satisfactory. And if the range is 85 to 89, it means that the student is very satisfactory. Then lastly, if the range is 90 to 100, the student is outstanding.
So let's move on to the findings of the study. In internal factors, respondents agreed with the concept that they feel worried about how they perform in PE class. It's a factor that has an impact in their motivation to learn PE. Researchers also found out that respondents do not have a regular physical exercise. It turns out that a huge number of the respondents do not have time to do exercise. Another result came out which greatly affect their learning habit is the amount of sleep they get at night. The survey indicates that most students don't get enough sleep at night. It is a manifestation that respondents are experiencing things that keep them up at night. The respondents have a good experience in school or online classroom except for the delayed lessons. They sometimes experience the delay of lessons due to slow internet connection, bad weather condition, and localized lockdowns. The researchers found out that most of the respondents don't get enough sleep at night, and we all know that students nowadays are exposed in different gadgets and mobile games that can affect their learnings and performance in PE class. Based from the data, it reflects that 59% of the respondents achieve an outstanding remark in PE subject. 29% of them got very satisfactory remarks. The remaining respondents, which complete the population, got a satisfactory remark. The result of the significant relationship on the factors that affect the respondents in learning physical education is there is a significant relationship on the factors affecting the learning of physical education to the respondents' performance. So let's move on to the conclusion of the study. The result of this study implies that there is a significant relationship on the factors affecting the learning of physical education to the respondents' performance. Internal factors such as motivation and physical health affects the student academic performance. Same as true with the external factors that affect learning based on the result, the environment of the students, thus situations, physical factors, school, environment, teachers, family factors have an effect to the student learning of PE. The researchers recommend that the school administrators, teachers, and parents should implement physical activity per day at home for the respondents to improve their health and reduce the risk of developing several diseases. Physical activity and exercise can have immediate and long-term health benefits. Most importantly, regular activity can improve your quality of life and learnings and performance in PE class. Intrinsic motivation is the inner drive to succeed, engaging in the task or adhering to the activity for fun, enjoyment, and satisfaction. That is why students must have this in order to be active always in learning and in doing performance tasks in PE class. The researchers recommend that the teacher should remind the students about the implications of not getting enough sleep at night by presenting them a simple discussion regarding the said matter. This will help the students become more conscious about their health. It is very important for the student to be aware and conscious to those negative impact of not getting sleep at night. That is why teachers and parents need to remind them. Lastly is that researchers recommend the parents to encourage their children to become health conscious, especially that health is also an asset in performing the required tasks in PE. This will help the students become more motivated to learn during their online class.